Well, bienvenue YouTube. Welcome to Train Sim World 5. We are in the Vectron, the Flix train Vectron. This one's an ELL loco. That means European Locomotive Leasing Companies. European Locomotive Leasing is who the loco actually belongs to. We are going to do a cab prep here. We are driving on Koln, Aachen with the new timetable. The headlights are on, as you can see. I'm just going to put us to headlights though, because the way the TOD, the lighting works, it just looks weird, man. So reverser stays neutral, brake pipes cut in. I'm going to dump the air brake on, the loco brake on. I'm going to take the train brake off, which basically releases that. And I'm going to go to the back wall, turn on my LZB and my PZB and my CFA. Headlights are going to be set to automatic. Brake pipes closed. That's done. Release the doors on the left. Might be. Should have done that sooner, not gonna lie. We're due a wait of 49, so I shut the doors at that stage. AFB next. So go quick bar at FM. Oh. There we go.
AFB. AFB. AFB.
So you have to be in forward to enable AFB. That's good to know. That's now enabled and set for 60, which is our starting speed limit today. Headlights are preset. Our voltage is set correctly. Basically, train's ready for departure. Time's now 49:04, so we are clear to go. There you go. My doors are now closing. Perfect. And we are Flix 1230, which is the service from Dresden right the way over in the east of Germany to Aachen. We are basically taking the last leg of the train. So the way this I'd sort of encourage you to imagine this is, and we can release. We are basically Koln based, and our diagram is take this train from Koln to Aachen, turn it around, bring it back to Koln, maybe a bit further. That's cool. Vectron there. It's panned up and yeah, it's panned up. Interesting. Normally you'd pan the loco down if you were leaving it, but there you go. I mean, there's no one in the cab, so yeah. As you can see, this is a special livery. This comes as part of the Flix train expansion pack. It's available from the Train Sim Community website. It gives you things like multiple Vectron liveries, and also Tauruses in Flix train livery. Unfortunately, the Taurus seems to be limited to 120 on LZB, and as most of this run is on LZB and we get up to 200, I am still doing it in the Vectron. I've also been missing the Vectron, not gonna lie. I really enjoy driving it. It's a European loco I feel really comfortable in, and I really like them as far as trains go. I'm going to take the drive out because we were told to basically expect a cautionary aspect. You can see lovely bits of sort of dirt and weathering detail there on the nose. So obviously as well, sorry, the Vectron that comes with Train Sim World 5 is solid green with the Flix train branding. This has got the ELL branding and it's got the white roof. We're now under LZB signalling, and it's now saying in 400 metres we need to be stationary. So we'll just take a combined brake application, which appears to be blowing air in, which is fine. Oh, signal's pulled off, good. So it's now saying we can permit ourselves up to 80. Brakes off. Thrash goes on. The route is under one of the old Train Sim World TODs, which is Train Sim World 2. Oh my god, we used to think this looked good. Like the level of like darkness and stuff is insane. Looks absolutely fabulous though, this route. Now, I will get the new Koln Aachen timetable information up. So there's a bit to go through on here. No, clear that. Warning horn. Now, basically, the way the symbology works for LZB, this is our next speed restriction, so it's a red, basically it'll be stationary, in 1800 metres, and that's also just a barber pole countdown. This is as fast as LZB will permit us to travel at. So red triangle, sorry, is LZB maximum permitted speed. Yellow diamond is the train's maximum permitted speed. See for there, counter kicking and telling me to reset it. We are still rolling along at 80, just purely because I got that 2200 metres till that stationary point. To that red aspect, or that red signal basically where it wants me to stop. LZB is weird and wonderful. It's in-cab signalling, but it's still fixed block. That's the difference between LZB and ETCS, broadly speaking, is signalling blocks aren't really fixed anymore. In general terms. Right, we'll now put it up to 140. No, we won't. I'm going to stay at 80. Obviously, from my perspective, I'm driving towards a brick wall that's a kilometre away, and it may move. At the moment, I'm basically waiting on that brick wall moving. See, so now the train's actually saying, no, you might want to actually slow down. Sorry about that. You can also see the ammeter up here, counting down on how much we're doing through braking. Great. So we just got smashed by the Sifa. What happened was I accidentally clicked into the screen. When you click into the screen, it takes away your ability to press buttons. And yeah. So what we'll do, we'll put it into overcharge. Brakes pressurised. Road is set. Cleared for 160 running. So we're now 5,600 metres, which is absolutely fine. So do a standing start to 100 miles an hour in the Vectron. Let's do it. So we've got the road. So when we get when we get a kilometre, we'll count how fast we do 0 to 100. There we go, 36. And this is just foot to the floor. No, basically letting the train take care of itself. Going all the way up for 125. So 0 to 60. 60 is about sort of 105-ish. $55 seconds. We'll go and call that. We've got the bit of hunting going on there as we go over the point work. And 0 to 100 is going to be a bit over a minute and a half. If you think though, and this is the way to think about this, we weigh, what is it, where is it, it would tell me, overview, 458 tonnes, and we do 0 to 100 in just shy of 2 minutes. Now, if you think how long that would... Yeah, so 1 minute... 1 minute 50, exactly near enough there, yeah, 1 minute 50 we're going to call that. So 1 minute 50 to get up to 0 to 100. If you think an HST, how long it takes it to go 100 miles an hour, and you can't just leave the throttle wide open. If you've got if you give an HST as many characters as this, which is what? Yeah, if you give it a 9-car HST, and it's got 2 power cars, it's just going to sit there and spin its wheels. So I find this really impressive. We'll just do a quick flyby. Doing my level best, that beeps with the LZB, it's still 5k away, so it's fine. That's quick. In the cab, 200 is in the box. And yeah, there you go, 125 miles an hour. So the Koln to Aachen timetable update. You've already seen quite a bit of it, but new services and new layers for our old favourite. For an old favourite, Koln Aachen timetable updates are out now for players on Steam. So it's only available on PC so far. This, when you open the thing, it's Koln Aachen timetable revamped. Now I do not have all of the DLC installed. I will tell you this now. It's just the nature of the beast with me. I don't have the space on my PC, but as a reminder, this is a free update to owners of the route on Train Sim World 5. Do wanted to confirm the add-ons so this is me reading off the live. Confirm all the add-ons that will add layers to the route following the update and the rollout plan for different platforms. This is Steam players only, with other platforms using the updates at a later time. The Timetable additional service layers. With all relevant content installed, the service count will go up considerably, from the original 552 services to over 4,000, of which around 600 will be playable. Below is the full list of add-ons that will add playable and AI services to the new timetable. Bremen Oldenburg will add the DBBR110 with N-Wagon services. On certain AI RB48 services towards Koln, and RE4 services towards Aachen. Dresden-Riesa will be facilitating Zachen's freight services and static stock throughout the route. Frankfurt-Fulda will be providing AI Ice-T services. Hauptstrecke Hamburg-Lübeck will have static Roos T-Wagon throughout the route. Hauptstrecke Rhein-Ruhr will be adding the 422 for S6 services and the 425 operating RE8, RB26, RB27 and RB33 services. Linke Rheinstrecke will be providing a BR103 rail tour service. LGV Mediterranean will be providing AI TGV services substituting for Thales between Aachen and Koln. Maintalbahn will be providing the DBBR642 DMU, serving all major stations. More details can be found below. MSB for the DBBR146 and RE1 services. RSN is a 463 for shunting services. Salzburg-Rosenheim for BR111 on RE4 services. Schnellfaststrecke Kassel-Würzburg for ICE1 AI services, as well as a few playable services running the length of the route, plus ICE3 services at Koln. Freight services, most freight services also come from this add-on. The rail pool Vectron, which includes playable and AI nightjet services. The Flix train Vectron, which is what we're driving today. Flix train AI services at Koln with a few playable depot moves and 2 full-length runs, 1 each way. So yes, the most of them, I believe, actually do terminate to Koln, and you take them in the depot at Koln and run around and do stuff. DBBR218, one short freight service that is bound for a diesel and branch line, and the S-Bahn Koln BR423, and that runs all S11, S12 and S19 services. These are all in their own layers for the timetable and do not affect the new journey's timetable. Additionally, this means we're now also able to serve Eilendorf Bahnhof because we have the DMU, the BR614. I'm just trying to figure out where it is actually. It's near Aachen. Oh, it's one of the... I'll point it out as we go in. It's... We go screaming straight through it today. So it's not a new track, but it is a new station to stop at. Let me just get my notes up here. Been going all this way without notes. I know, how very brave of me. So this is where okay, so right click and left click to go into a screen, right click to come out of it. That's good to know. So capture, I guess, of the Vectron. Go from left to right. SOS button, that's emergency brake plunger. PZB controls as standard. Override, free, and acknowledge. Pan up, pan down. Circuit breaker open, close. Train supply, which I think was already on anyway. AFB control, so I've left it wide open, which leaves us at the maximum of 200, but you'll see how that behaves later in the journey. We'll talk about that a bit more with the AFB controller. Throttle, obviously we're on full power at the moment. Neutral is the center position. Full dynamic braking is the full closest to its position. Door release, door close, door release. LZB emergency stop, which I'm not touching today. Fire controllers, which we're not touching today. These are your, that's a Booler screen, your GSMR radio, your primary driving screen. So we obviously, that's the CIFA bit there that illuminates when CIFA. So in theory that should illuminate sound, emergency brake. This is basically a status indicator. So this is how much power, how many kilonewtons power we're putting down, which is 50 kilonewtons. And that's to keep us at a speed of 198 kilometers an hour. Current LZB, it can see 7,000 meters ahead of us, and you can see that the line is clear for the next 7 kilometers. Basically, it's saying you've got LZB and PZB safety systems enabled, so the train will automatically switch from LZB back to PZB when the LZB route ends, and then PZB protection obviously only allowed. So the difference between LZB and PZB in Germany, to go above 100 miles an hour or 160 kilometers an hour, you require PZB in cab signalling. So LZB in cab signalling, which is what we have here today. And that is, oh dear God, basically that's what we're using at the moment. Below 160, well, you can also still use LZB obviously, but on most routes in Germany use PZB protection, which is basically a series of magnets. You acknowledge the route that's been set for you. So we're now being checked down to 160. I am not going to touch it. I'm going to let the train manage this. I'm going to show you how the AFB and the LZB work together. I'm hands off. My hands are literally rubbing my eyes at the moment. But basically the idea is that when the train thinks it needs to start braking, so it has a braking curve, I can obviously slow down whenever I want to, but the train has a braking curve, which is that the latest it wants to brake to guarantee that it's going to be at 160, 1.8k, right? So that's what we're doing at the moment. We're just leaving it to do its thing. It is about 2k to the end of LZB, so I'll be acknowledging that momentarily. You can see it's now enforcing quite a sharp braking curve, which I wouldn't do this in normal service. And it's fallen away now. So you can see it's basically trying to slow us down using the rheostatic braking or the dynamic braking. So the air brakes are completely released. You just got the traction motors kicking on, and we're now checked down to 160, which is for this curve, and there's the 160 post. So it's checked us down just in time, and we acknowledge that, and then we bring our AFB controller back to the 160 point. Zap. So we used no air brake, sorry, so this is your brake pipe. That was fully charged for the duration, but we generated about 40 kilowatt hours of power just through the regenerative braking. We've used about 715, and yeah, we've obviously burnt through, and you can see it's now pulling us down to 140. I'm not sure why it's actually doing that. We are still on a 160 for now. 110 kicks in at the 57.2 mark, which we are way off. Yeah, sorry, 59 mark, which, yeah, we are ways off. So we can stay at 160. For some reason it was checking us down still further. I think there's an issue with the way this interacts with the LZB on this route. It's probably all I can suggest. We've basically got 17k running at 100 miles an hour still. So it's now been brought down. We're now, obviously, you can see the train automatically knows it's time for LZB signalling. PZB is now in and basically in released PZB monitoring. And that's telling us that we're using PZB now, not LZB. See, it's PZB 85 is basically PZB released. I don't know the proper word for it. Now, anyway, that is your main screens on the train. Working on further to the right, this is obviously your, so FM 1, 2, 3 and 4. Those are your traction motors. That's showing you how much power they're actually drawing at the moment. Oberstrom is our draw. So right now we're coasting, we're in idle. Spannung is the amount of power that's in the overheads. So the best way I can describe this, power in the overhead, that's slightly over the 15 kV, which is what we're expecting. But that is the amount of water in the pipe, right? And the pipe's obviously the overhead line. Our draw is how much we're pulling. Now, in certain areas, this isn't simulated in Train Sim World, but it is simulated on the K-Trains Vectron and Train Sim Classic. If you're in a particularly busy area, you can find that you're drawing more, basically too much power, and the train doesn't like it because it can't get as much power as it wants because there's not enough power in the overhead. And it basically it gets very upset. It drops the pantograph because it thinks there's something wrong with the overhead wires. Welcome to the railways. This is how trains work. This is how trains train. So, like I say, you can see we've got a draw now of about 200 amps. Like I say, I'll point it out next time on the K-Trains Vectron because it's a nifty feature. But for now, we're just sitting here at speed. 12k to me need to be at 110, which is absolutely fine. I do need to be mindful of it because I needed to check us down there. The train will not do it automatically. And at the moment, I'm sitting here, the train's still managing itself. You know, I should probably pull back to maybe third power, just before we get smashed. So we are blasting along here down the fast line. You can see there's two taxi bodies. One's a passenger that's creeping out, and one's a light loco freight banner. So that I don't actually think that. There you go. So we can release, and that clears the error messaging for the LZB, which is fine. Other stuff on the screen, we'll quickly have a look. We'll go system, and you can then click through here. So this is obviously the different modes you can set the Vectron up for. So this Vectron can go Germany, Austria. So Germany 15 kilovolts, Germany 25 kilovolts, Austria 15 kilovolts, Austria 25 kV, and Sweden 15 kV. We'll release that now. I'll come back out of that. Quick bar, obviously that's how we set our AFB. Oberstrom does nothing. Kilowatt hours is just 0 kilowatt hours. Wish I hadn't done that actually. Status lock does nothing. Bremse does nothing. Funktionen. This is quite fun. So I'm going to actually set the rear static to be 240 kilonewtons. Basically gives us a bit more braking potential. Zugkraft, which is the maximum draw. I could put that back actually to 200 if we wanted. It'll make no difference at this point in the journey. Oberstrom is when it'll snap the overhead, and that's at 600 amps. System DB, that's what we're on. PZB mode O, which is what we want because we're on high speed PZB mode. Start brakes, which is high speed brakes, which is R. And we want train lights on. Camera, that would basically show us cameras down the train. So you can see that camera would that camera there and that camera there would feed into a DRO eject light style system. I've literally seen photos from that, and it's an incredibly HD camera. And that is your sort of your screen there. Obviously, sorry. So we talked about power. That's your brake pipe pressure. That is your brake cylinder pressure. No, so that's your brake cylinder pressure. That is your main res pressure. My apologies. So HL is brake pipe. HB is brake cylinder. Other than that, that's your overcharge. And this is your light controls. So we'll use this a bit more towards the end of the scenario because we actually dump the loco into Aachen depot to do the run around. But basically you can turn the headlights off, you can turn them on, you can do all sorts. 121. Where are we now? 55. We're a ways off. Yeah. We're still good to top at 160 here. I'm not sure why there's a 121 in there. So that smashed me for no apparent reason. I got smashed on the last time I ran this. Well, you're about to see how, so obviously the air, so you can see the main race pressure's remained high, the brake pipe pressure's dumped, and the brake cylinders haven't come on the loco, but they've come on the rest of the train. And we're now putting, well, we were putting 200 amps back into the overhead, that's dropping off quite sharply. So that's now released. You can see we're still in traction lockout because I've not idled the power. So we'll idle the power, and then I need to overcharge put the brakes into overcharge to acknowledge that I got penalty brakes. That then gives us the full release there, 5 bar. I'll give it a beat to go down the full train, and then we take power. And I'm not going to go as sharply up to 160 this time. It just gives you an idea of what running this train is like. I absolutely adore the Vectron. It is just a very pretty loco, and like I say, you don't realise how big it is until you see your little character sitting in there. My hair's a lot longer than that now. And I'm not going to be doing the full run around in Aachen. I'm just going to, like I say, jump the loco into the sidings, and then we'll end the video there. But it's fun to have that little shunt at the end, because actually that's one of the natures of the loco hold is there will be times you have to take the loco off the front of the train. And, you know, it's not something that we normally... Like, with me, obviously, as you guys know, I work on the railway. I'm not involved in any of this sort of, like, coupling, uncoupling malarkey. But, you know, I am on the train, and attaching and detaching is a specific process for a reason. I'll do. Nope. Thumbnail, right there. Full power now that we're up at 30. Passengers don't find sharp acceleration uncomfortable. What they find uncomfortable is sharp changes. So, if you go from full power to full brake, it's like, whoa, reaction, you fall over. Sharp braking, you can feel it, but it's not uncomfortable. Or sharp acceleration, you can feel it, but if you ease into that, like, basically if you sort of limit, you know, if you go from 0 power to full power in, say, 10 seconds, it's a similar situation that you accelerate away. Basically, it's the point I'm trying to make it fine. You ain't gonna die. I'm also gonna just smash us into the 110 now, because we're about 2k short. Like I say, we'll stop the train in Aachen. I do actually want to check. Is this functionality that exists? It is. That's cool. So that's our train number there on the door card. Where we're going, obviously you can see we've gone from Dresden to Koln, and instead of saying Koln to Aachen, which is what I'm now doing with it. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. And we're coming up on that 110 post. .110 in the box, and this is us passing Stolberg. So there's a big goods depot here at Stolberg. So you got the VTG Ealnos. What else we got? Have a little look around. So this is obviously comes with the Liverpool Vectron. There's Aachen wagons. Yep. And got the Falns, F-A-R-N-S. Little steel wagons that come with Schnellfahrstrecke thingy. Schnellfahrstrecke, sorry. VT GTR again. Another loaded steel train here. So you've got your shims and your Hebens and your other shims. The steel hood shims and the campus hood shims are the same. And you've also got your Uakens here, which I quite like. They look very cool, in my opinion. Got a 101 coming the way. Give a wave to our DB colleague. Surprisingly on time. Let's double check on milepost because I was at the cab there. 61.2, we're now allowed up to 140. I missed the acceleration point, but it doesn't really matter. We've got a ton of... we don't actually have a ton of time because we got stopped, but it's 8.5k, and then like I said, we unhook and we jump it into the depot. I'm not looking at any of this. It's not giving me any information I don't already know, you know? Anyway, so overall, I'm a big fan of this timetable update. This is always something, so I obviously, as well, back in the day, I used to work at Dovetail. I don't talk about it much because it's not relevant anymore. Like, I have some insights that I can share from that, but it's not, you know, it was 6 years ago now, and a lot's changed, but a lot of things remain the same, and I can, you know, there's times I can see a bug that's happened, and I can understand why said bug has happened. Normally they're the really basic bugs because it's the ones I was doing, but we don't talk about that part. But at the same time, you know, this is one of the things that was talked about that they would love to do, is go back and update older routes, and finally they're doing it. And you know what, respect that. It's taken best part of 10 years, but we're getting there. We're getting there, is what we'll say. Train Sim World, like I say, I do enjoy it. I am a fan of it. It's starting to get there, but I still, to be honest, I struggle with it a lot of the time. It's still, you know, it's been going 10 years, but it's still not as complete, in my opinion, as Train Sim Classic. It's got some nifty features, like the pans obviously follow the height, so we were really quite see it like that. That's cool. Understandably, that is cool, but yeah, it's this. That's weird having just a section cut off platform there. Eilendorf, so this is the station that is now served that was previously unserved. 140. I need to check what our next. 100 at the 68.6. 66.2, so I've got 2k. What I can actually do is just knock the power out. So we don't need to acknowledge that, but obviously it's warning us of 120 restriction, which I don't actually see on my notes, which is concerning. You can see it just shows the efficiency inherent with trains though. We'll just go for a light brake application, step 2 brake. Really comfortable slow down. We need to be doing 100 by the end of it. But 1.38 we need to be at 40 to enter Aachen, so you know, we'll just be mindful, I guess. And at 105 I'll let the brake off, maybe a bit less, maybe 103. As we coast on in, there's a talent. 68.2. And at 69.8 we need to be at 44. Well, I didn't acknowledge something there, didn't I? Probably a 40 warning. Oh well. We'll go about 80. But no idea why I didn't acknowledge that. Probably that last signal. Because in my head I was going slow enough to not need to acknowledge it. Oh well. I forget, even if you're going, like, genuinely... Dear God, please release. Thank you. In my head, I think I'm going too slow enough safety systems don't apply. So ignore it. Like obviously AWS shouts at you, but if I'm going below 100 and I've got 100 acknowledgement, I don't need to acknowledge it because I know I'm below 100. That kind of thing. But yeah, so we're limited to 45 at the moment, which is fine. Yes, so bit of a heads up just incoming. I am struggling at the moment to record weekend uploads as well. So the weekend uploads, obviously flight sim, DCS, that kind of malarkey. I've not got any ideas for that. I've not got any ideas for what I want to do. Feels like, so we've got the new maps, but in terms of actual sort of scenarios, I'm a bit blank right now. I have got one that I want to do for Germany, which is going to be really quite complicated. But yeah, it'll be quite fun to talk about. But we'll, like I say, we'll be covering off that because it's a separate sort of genre of video, so I'm not really going into it in too much depth. But you may see a couple of weeks where I just take a break from the weekend uploads, just to give me a chance at enjoying it again, for lack of a better term, you know? In fact, we might as well just do 40, because that's all. I do actually believe the Vectron shouldn't exceed 45. For crying out loud! That there is Aachen. Also, there's a steel carrier in there, and I've got no idea why. Stop talking! See if I can spin it. Watch the wheels. I can't. It's got wheel slip protection, which is pretty clever. I can say I'm a fan of the Vectron for power. Got some taxi boys sitting there, dumped in the sidings. Wonder if they're coming from night jets as well. See, night jet does go to Amsterdam. They do Amsterdam to Innsbruck, I believe. So that would come through here. Sorry, that's what I was trying to say. Because obviously, trains continuing in this direction will end up in the Netherlands. You can see our stop point at the end there. Because we are approaching, obviously, the end. Just going to do 20. I'm going to try and do somewhat realistic on couple. Now that we're at Aachen. It also doesn't want me to open the doors here, which is a bit of a shame, I will be honest. So, for whatever reason, we've got no shunt available today, so we're doing our own coupling and uncoupling. Is what we're going to say. So, because I know I'm going to be uncoupling here. Police doors on the left. Neutralise that. That gives away control of my brake pipe. I'm now going to turn it off, train supply. And I'm going to turn on my lights at the rear. Actually, I'll leave that for now. So we'll dismount the loco. Everyone's getting on and off, everyone's thanking the crew for an amazing journey. That was entirely down to me. Let the brake go the brakes, verify the taillights have illuminated, which I think they have. But we've got everything uncoupled, perfect, so we're not going to tear anything out the loco. Get back in the chair now. I'm going to go signal headlight controls. So now my rear lights are set to red, my front are set to thing, yep. So we'll tick that. And you'll see I've got white on the front, and you can see the red lights are illuminated on the rear. Reverser goes back to forward. We take back control of the brake pipe. That's weird, it's gone really quiet. Just checking that is still recording. Yes, it is, good. And I want to do a quick balm.
RFB, RFB, RFB.
There we go, and we'll let the train brake off now. And right, the loco brake off. And we'll take a dose of power. So we've left the wagons behind us, other coaches behind us there, the turbots. And we're just going to coast our way out here. We've got the permission to proceed. Let's just go up to 25. And a bit of new track for me, because I don't actually think we've been to Aachen Depot before. This is Aachen Depot here. We've got a random knocked out Dosto, 425, Talon. I think I saw a Regio Swinger in here before as well. So you get quite a bit. So what we'll do, that is now left in that position. Hang on. So we didn't get platinum because I've run it previously, but there's no speeding involved there. Absolutely perfectionistic driving, aside from the getting dumped by PZB a few times. So I've left the train brake in the off position. I'm going to neutralise that, and I'm going to go back to my headlights. And I'm going to set my front lights to that as well.
RFB.
I'm now going to disable my desk.
RFB.
Actually, I'm apologies, I'm not going to disable my desk. I'm going to open the MCV. That then silences the train because there's no power going to any of the systems. And I'm going to drop the pan. Donk. Now, at the front we've got red lights, at the rear we've got red lights, perfect. Neutral, so we're going to key off on the cab now. Stand up, put the blinds down. Keep it nice and cool in here. You know, dismount the number one end, verifying that we've definitely got the taillights on. Everything looks good. Oh, it's so pretty. If it wasn't for the light issues, that was almost photographic. And we'll climb up on the unit, on the loco, sorry. And we can sit in the chair. And we'll just set our headlights for set our headlights for now. You can see the white marks now on the front. Obviously I've panned the loco down. So there isn't a way to control it, but yeah, there isn't. I wish there was, but you switch pans around. Is it on this panel here? And have I just totally not yeah, it's just you basically switch from one pan to the other, which we can't do at the moment, which is a shame. But we pan up the loco again. The back pan's gone up for sure, not the front pan. Cutting the main circuit breaker. And after a few seconds, the loco's ready to move. So there you go. That is going to do it for today. I've really enjoyed that. I hope you guys did as well. Like I say, we've got about a 10-15 minute break here until we need to be, or until we get let back out. and put on the front of our train. But I really enjoy driving the Vectron in Train Sim World, and this is a great update. I do hope we get more like it. Unfortunately, I don't think we will, but it's a great route. It's Koln Aachen. It gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of what you can do. It's quite fast as well, so if you do it on a fast train, I mean, that took us 45 minutes, and we did some shunting at the end. Like, that's perfect length for me. Is, you know, you've got enough to watch going past, you've got enough to do, but not too much. And I quite enjoyed that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to see more from me on a regular basis. Until next time, guys, bye.